Welcome back to another episode of Decoded, a Lost Codex Podcast. My name is Jesse, and I'm the writer, director, and narrator for the Decoded, lore, everything you see here on the Lost Codex YouTube channel, Twitch channel, all that stuff. I am back. I am back alone. No host tonight, just me, just yours truly in the wake of Blizzcon 2018. And I've got a lot to say. Now, if you are a frequent viewer of this stream or of this channel, you're probably sick of all the BlizzCon chat. But if you went to BlizzCon, you now get it. So this is going to be the final big, huge talk about BlizzCon, and then we'll go back to lore podcasts and discussion podcasts and analysis and roleplay and all that stuff. But we've got one more podcast to get through on BlizzCon. But before we go to that, before we do that, before BlizzCon happened, me and my awesome team and many more put out a... Mia Pow has just subscribed. Mia, thank you so much for subscribing. We put out a special holiday-themed video that you may have seen on our YouTube channel called The Horseman Song. I sort of hyped it up a little bit with a couple stream teasers there. But I haven't had a chance to talk about it because BlizzCon happened literally a day and a half later, so I want to take this opportunity to talk about that project and give the proper amount of thanks to those involved. So, if you're listening to this on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, there's going to be a visual element coming up in a second, but there's actually also a song, so you're actually going to be able to enjoy what's going to happen. But if you want to see the visuals, either watch the Twitch VOD on Twitch, watch this on YouTube, episode 29 of Decoded, or just watch the video itself on YouTube. Latest, 7 months in a row. Damn, dude. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, the Horseman Psalm was actually a little bit of a different project than what we normally do. We, as you guys know, we do lore videos and podcasts, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do a lore video that really captured the essence of... All right. We gotta pause this. Holy moly, Mia Pow. And you know what? I always say that I don't talk about the stream chat on the podcast, but you know what? I have to give Mia thanks here. Mia has gifted 10 subs to the Lost Codex community. So congratulations to Phil, Lashbury Sass, Slump, Sweet Vidalia, Vidya, hello, Final Boss TV, Radiance, Kilted, not Tilted, Ragrook, Retro Raven, and Machinamush. Jeff has a Jeff has a subscription to his own YouTube channel. I don't think Final Boss is actually here right now. I think it's just a random selection of followers. But you know what? You know what, Mia? Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. To Mia Pow for those of you listening, this is part of the fun that you can... We're going to turn off those notification sounds. Alert box. No, we're good. For those of you who are listening, but you want to tune into the live stream of what we're doing, this is some of the fun you get. You could earn a subscription from Mia. So, yeah. Thank you, Mia. Back... Oh my god, this is just going non-stop. Alert box. Alright. So, back on track here. The Horseman Psalm is a Halloween episode about the Headless Horseman. I wanted to create this in-universe song that the children of Tirisfal, like the little Scarlet Crusade children running around Scarlet Crusade, or Scarlet Halls rather, would sing in like sort of a haunting, creepy way. I wanted this to be a folklore, realistic song that people would sing in commemoration of the Headless Horseman, but also in fear. This is something like a spooky bard would sing. And I'm going to talk about all the stuff that happens after, in terms of who's involved after I show. But we're going to show it here on on stream here in just a second, and then we'll get to talk about it. So guys, let me just bring it up here. Again, if you're listening to this, the audio version of this podcast, and you really want to tune in and see the visuals, you can find this video up on our YouTube page, and enjoy. Let me find it here.
Prepare yourselves for a true tale told. Gather round the young and old. Hallows End is here at last to sing the song of Thompson's past.
Ah, yes. Is that time of year again? Welcome. The days grow cold, so come. Sit by the candlelight, and let me tell you about a story of a good man who succumbed to madness. A man driven to insanity by loss. You may know him as the Headless Horseman.
Sir Thomas Thompson was his name, a pumpkin farmer first by trade. A happy family he did raise, upon his farm in Tearsfall Glade. The moonlight falls in silver halls, the order calls in Tearsfall. The sky is dark, the fire burns, we strive in vain as fate's wheel turns. To the light Sir Tom was drawn, as shadows fell on Lord Aron. He had fought by Uther's side, as Strotho burned, as last hope died. Yet brave Sir Tom still held his blade. He pledged his sword to the crusade, to serve under Red Lord's command, in vengeance for the Silver Hand. The moonlight falls in scarlet halls, the crusade calls in Tearsfall. The sky is dark, the fire burns, we strive in vain as fate's wheel turns. All along he held one fear, the lives of those he held most dear. He left his home with one request, to take his family to the west. But no ship sailed, the family stayed. Tom knew not, in blood they paid. In rage he searched for scourge to quell Soon all that lived had earned his ire, a righteous purge by cleansing fire. And on the eve of Wicker's flame, both friend and foe alike were slain. Upon his own Tom swung his blade. They took his head, his fate was made. And in his tomb did Tom's son lie, as shadows coiled they'd housed a lie, with demons' blood to rage a slave, arose the horseman from his grave. The moonlight falls in hallowed halls. The horseman calls in dearest fall.
There we go. Yes, that was Silver Latomi. Yes, a million yeses. Let's go through the credits here, because I feel like I need to explain what everyone did. Because it was an ambitious project, and one that actually came out really fast. Obviously the singer, huge special thanks to Silver Latomi for singing that. I've never worked with Silver herself before, but she was involved in the earliest part of the project before she agreed to sing, and so when it came to be that we needed a singer, she stepped up and just blew it out of the water. I mean, we didn't give her a lot of notice due to the way that some things happened with the project. But she came out and gave us this full performance with different iterations of different verses, and I'd send her a message saying, can this be changed? And she would change it with 4 different versions of it. And it was so... To hear, I'm not a singer. I don't have a singer's ear. So to hear, I had one vision in my head, and then to hear her sing something else that was like 30 times better. I can't even give her enough credit. It's funny how I've never met her before this year, and so we're at our meet and greet, and I didn't really know what she looked like. So I'm sitting on my meet and greet table, and she comes over again. I have no idea who she is. This project's out at this point, and she goes, "Hello, hi, what's going on here?" And I said, "Oh, well, have you heard of the Lost Codex?" She's like, "No, I haven't." I was like, oh, "Okay, well, do you like lore?" She's like, "Kind of." I was like, "Oh, well, what do you like?" She goes, "I really enjoy singing Halloween songs." And then the light bulb went on, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I jumped up, and that point. Anyway, really good. I wish I got a photo with her. I didn't get a photo, but special thanks to Silver Latomi. Go check her out on YouTube, and we're definitely going to work with her again. We definitely have plans for our next song project has already started. So, yeah. The lyrics were written by myself. And Chandran, for all those in the Discord, Chandran was actually such a heavily involved member of this, like of the credits of the cast. I'm struggling for words here. She was the first person that I reached out to, and I said, I need to write a Halloween song. And she's like, oh. So she just started writing out random verses about the Horseman just to sort of get a creative start on a page. And honestly, the direction we went was because of Chandron's earliest rendition of this song. We didn't really have the melody, so it was written by myself and Chandron, and co-written by Jay the Bard. Jay the Bard actually played a huge role in this as well, because the melody you hear, the do-do-do-do, that was all Jay. Jay came up with the sound of the creepy music box, the melody of the verses, the melody of the chorus. That was all Jay the Bard, and he threw in his own suggestions with different parts of the song to keep it more in line with a true folklore song, while Chandron and I focused on the story part of it. And also special thanks to Ladus and Gooby Jen for actually swooping in at the end with some actually really awesome song-changing decisions that we made at the very end. We were kind of struggling with a message we were trying to convey. And so Ladus, who was an outsider on this project, listened and looked at the verse, listened to the verse, and said, well, here's what I'm seeing, but here's how the story's supposed to be, because Ladus knew the story. And so Ladus and Gooby threw in their own suggestions. Jay swooped in and gave us the melody that we needed, and Chandron and I kind of laid this out. Now, Mia said in chat, the creepy music box, and that... So Jay says to me early on, he goes, I feel like after the intro, there needs to be this creepy sounding jingle that goes with, that is basically the melody of the song, but in a slow, very haunting way. So if you guys have tuned into the stream before, you always hear me talk about Walid. Walid Fagali, a good friend of mine, crazy talented in everything that he does, in all of his endeavors. And I reached out to Walid with a recording from Jay, and Jay basically hummed out the melody, and I said, dude, I need this turned into this little do 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 do, turned into a creepy music box. We need a regular sounding one, and we need a very slow one for the end of the song. And Walid says, sure, no problem. So I go to bed, and I wake up with about 100 messages from Walid saying, do you have a melody for the song? Do you have the background music? Do you have any of that? Of course, I'm dead to the world, so I didn't answer. So Walid says, you know what? I'm going to do it for you. So I wake up, I asked for creepy music box and a slow creepy music box. And the next morning, Walid gave me both those. Plus the entire melody that you hear in the background, plus the haunting spectral choir at the beginning, plus all the background stuff, just because he wanted to. He's like, here, I made this. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but if you want to use it, go for it. And I was like, all right. So send out to Jay. Jay's like, this is perfect. This is what we need. Jay actually lined up all the audio, all the music, the flow of the song, how every verse went, where the music box went in. That was all lined up by Jay. And then Silver came in. Silver Latoma came in with the actual singing, and of course the visuals. Well, you guys know that Jeff is responsible for animating all this, putting all the special effects, and keeping this true Lost Codex style, but with a little bit of a twist. But this was actually an interesting project because for the first time we worked with another artist, a member of our community in the Discord, Sir Tompshire, came and helped us with this project. And so big shout out to Sir Tompshire for, on very short notice, getting us a lot of these different visuals and a lot of these different scenes. Sir Tompshire specializes in 3D machinima, and so he was actually able to make a lot of different style images that Jeff could then go over with his paintbrush and touch up to be Lost Codex style. And so a lot of the projects you saw that the scenes looked a little bit more 3D, that was Sir Tompshire. The chorus with Sir Thomas standing in the Silver Halls, the Scarlet Halls, all that was all Sir Tompshire. So it was really fun to work with so many different people across the board. going through the list again, just going through what I have here on YouTube. Silver Latomi performed, written by myself and Chandran, video production by Jeffrey, music performed by Wallad, contributing musical artist Jay the Bard, contributing digital artist Sir Tom Shire, latest and Gooby Jen for the creative contribution, and Zillions for project management and reaching out to Silver Latomi in the first place when we needed a singer. So many people involved in this project, and it turned out so well, so awesome, to the point where all during TwitchCon, Jeff, Zillions, and I were just humming the Horseman song. It was this earworm, kind of like Daughter of the Sea, and it was like, God damn, this is catchy. Damn it, Jay. Damn it, Wallad. Damn it, Latomi. This is too catchy. It did come out on the eve of on Hallows Eve, and it was right before BlizzCon, so the view count isn't as high up. Sage, I'll get you all those files later on. You can tell me what you want. Message me after the stream, and I'll get you that stuff. But for those of you listening, for those of you who only heard the audio, for those of you who just saw the visuals, would this be something you guys want to see more of? Would you guys want to see more folklore, lore-related songs by the Lost Codex and contributing members of the community? Is this something you guys would want to see for a Christmas song? Parodies is how I got started in the machinima community years ago. Boom Diata Wow, that was my baby. That was the thing that I first came up with. But I don't think parodies work for this sort of folklorish lore song. So folklorish lore channel. So that's why I want to do original songs. So for those of you listening on YouTube, Twitch, Stitcher, iTunes, is this something you want to see more of? The chat's all agreeing. So if you don't, you're standing out. So anyway, that was fun. Thank you to everyone involved with that. You can see the full credits list on the YouTube version with links to everyone's social media pages and all that kind of stuff. Let's move on to the bulk of the podcast. The meat and potatoes. We're going to be talking about BlizzCon this week and everything exciting that happened throughout that whole week. You know, last time we had a Decoded episode, it was me, Zillions, and Jeff sitting on the couch in the Homewood Suites, Anaheim, California, talking about TwitchCon and our predictions for BlizzCon. But now we're sitting in the post-BlizzCon time. And there's a lot to talk about. And I'm not going to dive into all the juicy WoW details because I feel like that could be its own podcast. But let's dive right into this. So let's just talk about the elephant in the room right off the bat. Let's talk about Diablo for a moment. And I know this is going to create some controversy. Was it disappointing? In light of the way that Blizzard posted that blog post about lowering our expectations and something we did not do, I don't think it was. It was disappointing in that it wasn't Diablo 4. I'm not even a big Diablo fan. And I was hoping for Diablo 4. Or Diablo 2 Remastered. That would have been sweet. But it's not what happened. And announcing a mobile game to a PC community, a little bit iffy. Hearthstone, very different game style. Very successful. Everyone, you guys remember when Hearthstone was first announced? No one thought it was going to be good. Everyone laughed at it. Everyone thought it was going to be awful. I was like, really? Blizzard, the legendary makers of StarCraft, Diablo, and Warcraft, are making a card game set in WoW? This is going to flop. And really? Did it flop? Not even close. So, I will say that Diablo Immortal is fun as hell to play. I played it at BlizzCon. It is actually more fun than I expected for a mobile game. Obviously, the concerns are, is it a battery killer? Is it going to overheat your phone? What kind of microtransactions? You know, let's not talk about all that stuff. Let's just talk about the community response. And I think this is where I have a problem with everything that happened with Diablo. And for those of you who accuse me of always white knighting, here we go. Get your cloaks on, because I'm about to white knight again. People don't realize that you can, in the same breath, be disappointed in what Blizzard gave you and not be an asshole about it. I said in my interview with Alex Frasiabi, the internet is a bunch of dickbags. Go look at it. I'm going to get Jeff to edit that clip in right now of me calling everyone dickbags. And that's what the BlizzCon crowd was. A bunch of dickbags. What's frustrating, and I talked about this last night on the Daily Grind podcast, is you can be upset without ripping into someone who lives their life creating games because they're as passionate about these games as you are. So, I saw a Twitter post, and I really wish I'd saved it, because it said, you can be upset and disappointed and frustrated with Blizzard's delivery or response or comment, don't you all have phones, while simultaneously not being an absolute jerk about it. Watching that developer's face on screen just plummet when the crowd started booing him. Years ago, 3 BlizzCons ago, Mike Morhaime opened the opening ceremonies with... Mike Morhaime is a very gentle soul. We don't deserve Mike Morhaime. But he opened that opening ceremony with a little bit of an edge in how disappointed and disgusted he was with not the Blizzard community, but the community online in gaming in general. This was at the height of the Gamergate incident. This was the height of so many problems, and he was saying, just be good to one another, be kind to one another. Everyone went wild. Everyone started clapping. Mike Morhaime, the super positive voice, everyone was like, yes, this CEO is saying what we all want to hear, perfect stuff. And then at BlizzCon, they always kind of have a repeat thing, being kind to one another, all that stuff. And then we get a Diablo announcement and people are booing the developers on stage. Like, what? Don't sit there in the crowd, misty-eyed, when Mike Morhaime's talking about his family at the opening ceremony, and then an hour later start booing the Diablo developers off the stage. I get it. You're disappointed. And I get it. You've been waiting for a Diablo thing for years. Reaper of Souls is, 4 years out now? Diablo 4? Where is it? Come on, Blizzard. I get it. But does that mean you get to treat the developer like garbage? No, it doesn't. And you know what frustrates me is when I see people saying, oh, well, when I complain to the developers, and this goes for the Warcraft team as well, when we insult the Warcraft development team and we give our feedback, but it's really aggressive, it's up to the developer to look past the aggression for the hidden message in there. You as the developer have to look past the community angst for the hidden little gem in there and take that with a stride of positivity and learn from your mistakes. So my response is, fuck you, no. The developers don't need to look past your negativity. If you approach the development team with a, hi, fuck you for ruining Night Elves, and fuck you for doing this, the developer is just going to slam the door in your face, because everything you said after fuck you is irrelevant. Whether you have the most mind-blowing, game-changing piece of feedback ever, you opened with an insult. Shut up. At that point, nothing. And I've talked to different developers about this. I've talked to members in the community, both Blizzard, content creators, and these dickbags on the internet come in with, well, here's my feedback, and here's my professional opinion on what you should do, and even though it's a little bit aggressive, you should look past it for the hidden message. No. If you're gonna give me feedback, don't be a dick about it. Give me, tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's wrong. Tell me why you don't like it. And if you have a suggestion, give me a suggestion on how to fix it. That's the best way. Red Shirt Guy, Ian Bates, did just that with, drawing a blank, what did he do it with? Darkshore 8.1. He made a post saying, I don't like 8.1's Darkshore storyline because Tyrande does this, this, and this, and it seems really weird. Here's why it's weird, and here's some suggestions I would make. 2 builds later, all of those things that he had a problem with were changed because Red Shirt Guy was not an asshole about it. He said, guys, I'm really passionate about this story in game, but I don't like what I'm seeing. Here's why, and here are my suggestions. And Blizzard went, huh, this guy makes sense. Not because he's red shirt guy, but because he wasn't a dickbag. So if you have a suggestion, you want Blizzard to listen, don't hit the caps lock button and go That's not going to fix it. Sage says here in chat, I'm not a game developer, but that's... Don't start with that. That is... that is frustrating. And so when I see, and as a content creator, when I see people say, I don't really like what you're doing, I'm going to say, oh, tell me why. But when I get attacked right away, or when I see people attacking other developers, writers, anyone involved out there, just going at them with negativity, at that point, just slam the door. And you know what? Maybe people are going to say, you're, I always see people write on Taliesin and Evatel's videos, you're a bunch of Blizzard shills, and I'm expecting someone to say that to me too. But you know what? I have a lot of friends who work in the industry, and when I see people attacking them personally, I'm like, no. That's not how you give feedback. And I am just letting it out right now because I get how disappointing Diablo Immortal was. How much of a shock it was. But to say, is this a belated April Fool's joke? To boo them on stage? Like, the gaming community already has a toxic problem. When you ask anyone, oh, what do you think of the League of Legends community? The first thing out of their mind is, what a bunch of toxic dickbags. I don't play League. That's my first response. Because it is such a widely known, whether it's true or not, I honestly don't know. But the gaming community has a reputation. And what that community did at BlizzCon did us no favors as a community. So when I see negativity like that, or people writing on Twitter about self-insert characters or bad story writing, and they're calling for these developers' heads, that's when I have a problem. He says he's a Slytherin, he's clearly a Hufflepuff. No, as a Slytherin, I am protecting my own. I am protecting both my work and those closest to me with a bite. Because you know what? Screw the dickbags. We're going to get back to the Alex Frasiabi statement about dickbags later on. There's a little bit of a story behind that. But all in all, guys, Diablo was disappointing. Fine. Let's wait. I hate the wait and see line. But let's just wait and see. Let's see how Diablo actually turns out. Because everyone laughed at Hearthstone. Everyone laughed at Overwatch. Look at do I think Diablo Immortal is going to be the new Hearthstone or Overwatch? No. But is it as bad as what we think? I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's just see. We're all waiting for Diablo 2 remaster. We're all waiting for Diablo 4. But we don't need to be dicks about it. Let's give the proper feedback. That's all I wanted to say. We don't know enough. Thank you, Mike on the Daily Grind. I assume it's Mike, for saying we don't know enough about the game to judge it. We know it's a mobile game, and we know that they're working with an outside company, and instantly people grab their pitchforks. End of the day, these guys on stage making these games are as passionate about the game as you are. So, cut it out. Cut it out, guys. And most of you listening here, you are members of a great community. You are not assholes, and it's always the loud minority who comes out aggressive like this. I am gonna get that one comment who says, "Well, screw you for telling me how to think. I'm gonna treat them like dicks." Go for it. Enjoy your downvotes. Let's jump right into World of Warcraft and talk about the Azshara hype. Now, I will say, I didn't know Azshara was a thing as it was announced during my interview. So we got to interview Alex Frasiabi and Pat Dawson, and it was great. I'm going to just talk about that. We got to interview Alex and Shaney last year, and I don't know Alex. I don't know him like other developers. So I went in. I was nervous last year, but Taryn saved me. Taryn Gregory saved me. Told me, here's how he is. Here's what to ask. No bullshit question. Just dive right in. And last year was a very formal interview. Battle for Azeroth. It was, got some cool Lost Codex exclusive information. We walk in this year, and it's Alex again. And the look on his face when we walk in, it wasn't a hello. Like last year was, hey, nice to meet you. You're the Lost Codex and you're interviewing us. This year when we walked in, his face lit up in recognition of, hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you. And I was like, oh my God. Like the stress just melted off me. And you'll notice if you go back and watch last year's interview and you watch this year's interview, it's very different. This year's, there was jokes. It was fast. It was, funny comments from Alex and Pat. It was far less formal and more just like a casual chit chat. And I absolutely loved it. I really wanted to talk with Shani Edwards again because I just love talking to the artists on the World of Warcraft team. But I actually learned a lot of cool shit from Pat. We went in not knowing who Pat Dawson was, because I couldn't find much information, and I was like, okay, I have to do some research on this guy. I don't know what to ask him. So finally, I found out Pat Dawson is actually the father of the achievement system back in Wrath. He's the guy who built the achievement system from the ground up. He is heavily involved in all the systems tech going on in World of Warcraft. He's also like in the top 3% of pet battlers or pet collectors in the world, and mount collecting as well. So he's actually, and he's in a hardcore guild. We talked about it. Anyway, did my research, found out what Pat was about, and I came with questions for both Pat and for Alex. And it was awesome. It was super fun. We actually we were way more professional this year with our equipment. My coffee's getting cold, so I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. Give me a second. We had three microphones this year. Last year, here's the problem with last year. Jeff brought his camera, had the microphone, good. Had my questions in front of me. Record, perfect. Interview went well. See you later. Stepped out of the interview. What do we do with the file now? We don't have a laptop. We don't have anything. Wowhead reached out to me. Perculia said, hey, like, you got some cool information. Do you have a link to your video? And I was like, no, we don't have a laptop to upload it anywhere. So that was a stupid mistake on our part last year. This year, Jeff actually invested in a laptop earlier this year capable of rendering. And for those of you who saw the interview, you saw the little name tags pop up. You saw the little special effects pop up. All the different assets that kept showing up on screen, whether it was to have the question written out or a short form answer or just some little funny quotes. Jeff did all that in preparation of BlizzCon. And we've gotten just so many positive comments about all the stuff like that. It's definitely something we're going to have in the future, whether it's for BlizzCon interviews or other developer interviews. It was awesome. And so we went in, Jeff and I invested in a special recording, bunch of recording stuff. Got one of my microphones right here. So this was my microphone that I was recording with. And then Alex had my iPhone in his pocket with a lapel mic, and Pat had a recording, a recorder with a lapel mic going on. Unfortunately, Alex's mic bugged out a little bit on the recorder, so we didn't get Alex's audio like directly, so that's why Alex's voice sounds a little bit distant. Alex's voice actually came from this. This is actually a very powerful recorder, and I was the one talking into this, but because there's a microphone facing this way, Alex's voice was actually captured really well. Even though it was sitting right next to Pat, it actually came right into here. And so that was the only technical issue we had was with the recorder, but we know it now for next year. Jeff had the recording microphone on his camera and had his whole system set up, less handheld and more like, more sturdy. And it was great. We launched it. There's actually a little bit of the interview you guys didn't see at the beginning where we're talking about Thunder Fury and all the NPCs named after Alex. And it was just a really casual shoot the shit conversation that I really wish we had more time to do. Because setup time is part of your interview time. So we got in there with a minute before interview started, and we basically, the first 3 to 4 minutes were all about getting set up. So it was just me talking with Alex as Jeff, got the camera ready. So maybe we'll throw some the deleted bloopers out the window. But it was awesome, and I really hope to be able to interview more developers throughout the year because people absolutely love the questions. If I didn't get to answer your question, I did prioritize lore questions over system questions. Obvious reasons. Alex had some really big reveals with Thros, with the Zandalari Loa, or just Loa in general, with the early Kultira settlers and the Vrykul and all that. So it was fun. The one thing that I will not complain about, but give feedback on, was the time slots of the interview. We had it on day one, which is awesome. Having our interview on day one, right away, perfect. Except our interview was at the same time as the What's Next panel. So I couldn't even ask him about mechanomes or junker gnomes. I couldn't even ask him about new allied races. I couldn't even ask him about Nazjatar. I didn't know. So that was the only downside, was the same time as our interview was the actual panel. And you hear me in the interview reference what's going on downstairs. So that was my only problem. And it's not really a problem because we got to interview Alex Afrasiabi. That's dope as hell. When I found out we were interviewing, again, Alex Afrasiabi, the other developers, so many developers I would have loved to talk to. Jeremy Fiesel, I would have loved to talk to. Christy Golden or Steve Denuser. Say his last name right? Doesn't matter. But Alex Afrasiabi, like Chief Lore Papa upstairs, I was happy. So I'm not complaining at all. And it was awesome. So thank you, Alex and Pat, if you're watching this. Thank you. Actually, what was really cool is after the interview is over, you don't see it on camera. I stand up to shake Alex's and Pat's hand, and Pat says, "By the way, loved the Horseman song. Really cool stuff." And Alex is like, "What Horseman song?" And before I can even explain, Pat says, "They did this really cool story about..." Starts talking about the Horseman song, and I'm just like, "This guy, listen to him." So that was awesome. Thank you to Alex. Thank you to Pat. And thank you to Robert Taylor for being the anonymous off-screen voice that you heard at the very end there. He's the PR guy who was involved. And thank you to Jeff for filming and all the audio setup and all that stuff, and Zillions for getting Robert Taylor to send us a message. All of this, thank you so much. There was a lot of positive feedback we got from the community. I've had people say it was the best interview they saw at a BlizzCon 2018. Best lore interview maybe, because there's we didn't get a whole lot of revealing stuff about Battle for Azeroth in terms of future systems, but whatever, it was great. Thank you so much to everyone involved. New Worgen models, new Goblin models. I got to see that after. I got out of there right away, looked at my phone, looked at what I missed. I feel that I have to talk about everything that's coming in World of Warcraft later on, off screen, on a different podcast, because I could derail this into a super long conversation. Let's just say I was correct in the Worgen and Goblin prediction that I had. Way off on the allied races. I thought we would get a glimpse of allied races. Not even a chance. Tauren Heritage armor looks dope as hell. I really hope that there's a Barons war campaign coming. Warfront, rather. To give more Tauren armor. Because Tauren have no armor in game. Tauren have like druid sets. That's the only thing that looks like Tauren. So when I saw the Tauren Heritage armor... Ooh, perfect. And the gnome, dope. I showed Jeff, and his jaw dropped. I wish I got a recording of Jeff looking at it. It was awesome. The Tauren one, the gnome one looks amazing. And yeah. So thank you to everyone who watched the interview. If I had a choice of who I could interview next year, 100%, without a doubt, Alex Frasiabi again. I think it has to be a thing now. Alex and I need to have like a talk. We had to have a chat in the sanctum. I'd love to talk to Chris Robinson or Shani Edwards again. Actually, both of them in the same room. That would be awesome. For those who don't know, Chris Robinson is the art director for World of Warcraft. Heavily involved in like the new races and stuff like that. So he'd be dope to talk to. Steve, he's one of the lead quest designers. Jeremy Fiesel would have been really sweet to talk to. So definitely hope we get to talk to more Blizzard developers in the future. Let's talk Warcraft 3 Reforged. That was probably the biggest surprise I had at BlizzCon 2018. I actually watched the opening ceremony from the Heroes of the Storm stage. Perfect seats. And next to me was Jeff, Zillions, and Spalander was on my left-hand side. And we both got so excited. I think we held up our arms after, and you could see the goosebumps in the dark. When that trailer started playing, I lost my mind. I didn't even realize it was a remaster of the trailer until we saw the orc. I had such a nostalgia rush that I saw past the visuals and just, oh my god. I remember I kept looking at Shauna. I kept looking, going, oh my god, is this did you record that? She recorded me doing something. No, she recorded the Starfang cinematic, which we'll talk about in a second. But even though we just defeated the Burning Legion, and it's kind of like, who cares about them anymore? To see that Infernal, oh my god, that was mind-blowing. I did not see that coming by a mile away. You know, I think I've predicted the last 3 BlizzCons that Warcraft 3 Remastered would be a thing. I didn't even consider it this year. I was just like, I've been wrong. 3 years in a row, and bam. Amazing. And let's talk a little bit about what's coming with Reforged. People are saying, and I just said it, Warcraft 3 Remastered. It's not a remaster. It's called Reforged for a reason. Because they're going to be changing the story. And this next part's going to get a little bit of heat, maybe in the comments, but rightfully so. Warcraft 3 is a classic to so many people who are now playing WoW. It is that introduction to Azeroth for a lot of people. The writing back then, the story was great. This legendary epic fantasy that we craved so much through outlets like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But this was different because we got to play it. But the writing wasn't flawless. And there are things that need to be changed, whether it's just bad writing in terms of really poor dialogue writing, or lore decisions that have since been retconned for the better. And one of the biggest things is Suramar and the Tomb of Sargeras. You know, back then the Tomb of Sargeras was raised along with all of the Broken Isles from the bottom of the sea by Gul'dan back in Warcraft 2. Obviously in Legion they changed it that it was only the tomb itself that was raised from the bottom of the sea, alongside the Broken Isles, which were totally separate and have always kind of been there. So decisions like that's an important story decision that I think is definitely for the better. Chronicle 3 really changes a lot of things, and really provides context. You know, back then we didn't really have any information on why the Blood Elves hated the Alliance. Now, we did, but we didn't. And Chronicle 3 really covers the political schemings of Onyxia, and you know, it even says that the elves kind of dug their own hole when it comes to, you know, how they responded to the humans, and how Garithos wasn't a representative of the Alliance in its entirety, and how he was an isolated incident and stuff like that. People think, oh, the Blood Elves should never join the Alliance because Garithos was a dick. Yeah, he was one dick. He was one dick bag of a lot of humans. He was that one guy. He was that guy in the Immortal crowd, right? And Chronicle 3 really solidifies a lot of that, and so I can't wait to see that in game. I'm gonna disable my phone notifications since people realize that my phone notifications are on and they're gonna start spamming me. So I'm excited for these little retcon changes, and I'm excited to see if I really hope that Warcraft 3 Reforged works with the Chronicle team, the writers of Chronicle, to get these facts right. So, for example, the founding of Durotar doesn't mention Rexxar a whole lot in Chronicle 3. Does that mean Rexxar's involvement is totally not canon? No. But maybe Rexxar's role isn't as big in the grand scheme of things as it was back in the day. Maybe it seemed back then a classic, situation, but maybe Blizzard decided, you know what, that's a little bit bad writing. We're going to change a little bit. We're going to have Rexxar involved in these big, have Rexxar involved in the battle for Theramore against Dalen Proudmoore. But maybe Rexxar didn't travel the world with Chen Stormstout for a long time. And maybe Chen has a different direction they're going to go with. So these changes I don't think are bad things. And I'm excited to see how they lay them out, because these are moments in lore. We have Warcraft 3, we have Chronicle, put my hands on screen here, but we don't have the in-between. And Warcraft 3 Reforged is that in-between that can connect the old story to the new story and tell us, here's what actually happened. We're notifying you, Jesse, to Top Hats. What? New Top Hats. Top Hats are coming in the new patch? Guys, stop the stream. There's Top Hats coming in 8.1. Starting down the stream. Gonna go get Top Hats. Be right back. That's exciting. Cool. Cool. No, but you've got Chronicle, you've got the old story of Warcraft 3 Reforged. I don't know why I derailed like that. But Warcraft 3 Reforged really connects those two. I'm really looking forward to Illidan's storyline in the Tomb of Sargeras. I really hope they just blatantly take what we know in game, in Legion, showcase that. I would love to see, I think, drawing a blank on her name, but Maiev has her wardens. One of her wardens gets trapped in there. She's a ghost in the raid. I'd love to see mention of that brought back to life. I'd love to see Illidan looking out and seeing the shield that's covering Suramar. It's literally right next door, so I'd love to see mention of that. How cool would it be if we saw a High Mountain Tauren units nearby, because it's, broken out? Something. I think it'd be really cool to connect these pieces together, and I'm really, really looking forward to the potential. The potential that this has is huge. I got to see some of the rendered not the rendered, but the in-game cutscenes. This is going to impact the World of Warcraft machinima community and Lost Codex videos in a huge way, especially if we have access to that in-game engine as much as we did with Warcraft 3. Ooh, this is going to be cool. Just think of the potentials of making campaigns and custom storylines and things for stream viewers to participate in, things, custom D&D campaigns where people are playing, a Warcraft D&D using those maps. Like, the potential is there, and I cannot wait to see. And they are going, this is not a reskin. Again, they are going full ham on the models. Arthas is getting his own, every single unit is getting their own model. Karen Bloodhoof, Thrall, assuming Rexxar, they're not going to cut him out of the storyline. Death Knight Arthas, normal Arthas, Jaina. And what I'm really excited for is the voice actors. The voice actors are going to be up to date as well. So Metzen's going to have to come back. He said he would. But does that mean Mark Addy, who plays Dalen Proudmoore in Battle for Azeroth, are we gonna have more Bobby B memes in Warcraft 3? Because I'm okay with that. I'm okay with King Robert memes in Warcraft 3 Reforged. I'm okay with the full potential of what's coming with the new and the old voice actors. That is one of the most exciting things to me. And you can bet that I'm gonna stream that. I'm gonna stream all that stuff. So changing the lore, I saw people getting mad at the lore changing. No, guys, unfortunately the Warcraft 3 storyline isn't perfect, and there's a lot of old things that don't make sense anymore. Now you might say, well, Blizzard shouldn't have changed it for World of Warcraft, and current WoW is no longer canon because it doesn't fit my old beliefs. Fortunately, that's not an opinion. That's not fact. That's your opinion. And I'm excited to see Blizzard basically take all the changes and make it affect Warcraft 3 for the better. Let's make the writing cohesive and connected. And I would love for them to use that engine and to recreate a Warcraft 1 or Warcraft 2 DLC content, because Warcraft 1 storyline is very brief, but I'd love to see that in DLC content form. That would be dope. That would be dope. Let's talk about the true spirit of BlizzCon and why I go to BlizzCon. Now, I can go back and I can watch all these panels online through YouTube, through the virtual ticket, but that's not why I go to BlizzCon. I go to BlizzCon for the people. And the amount of people I made, the amount of connections, the amount of friendships that I made this year at BlizzCon, unprecedented. It was, I'll be honest, Jeff and I spent the whole first day, with the exception of the opening ceremony, in the media room. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't bad. There's a full buffet in that media room. Full buffet, drinks, desserts. Oh yeah, we were taken care of. But we worked the whole first day of BlizzCon, so we didn't actually get to experience BlizzCon. Out of a full percentage day of BlizzCon, we probably experienced maybe 10% of it, 15%. That's it. So, meeting at first I was disappointed that we missed the first day of BlizzCon. And as I was walking out of the media room, I thought, it's only 7 o'clock, it's only 7:30. There's still a whole night of adventures going on. And there was. Everything that happens at BlizzCon that I build and talk and shake with excitement about doesn't happen at BlizzCon itself during the day. Those are amazing. Seeing those panels face to face, that's awesome. But it's the connections at the end of the day. That is what BlizzCon is about. That is what I look forward to. And chat, by the way, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to focus on this podcast. But if you're here in chat, stick around because I'm definitely going to talk to you guys in the post show. If you're listening to this on iTunes or whatever, Stitcher, and you want to join us for the whole live stream show, there is a post show where I just shoot the shit with the audience. But right now it's podcast time. So I see some questions I'm going to answer in just a second at the end of this podcast. The people are what really make BlizzCon to me. And getting to hang out with friends from all around the world. I have friends from Germany, from the Netherlands, from Hungary, from New Zealand, from Australia, from the UK, all around the United States, Canada, Brazil, everywhere, converging on this one location. And that is awesome. That makes BlizzCon to me. And I have photos to share with you guys. So if you guys are listening to the audio only, this next part is going to be a little bit weird because it's only photos. But I'll describe the photos in great, perfect detail. So in my group, I went to BlizzCon this year with a whole bunch of Canadians and Americans. And we started the week off, we went to Universal. And here's some photos. So I'm gonna you're gonna see some familiar faces here. We'll start on the far left. We've got Joe in the red hat. Joe is a friend from Canada. He lives in Toronto. Him and Nathan's on the far right in the ketchup shirt. These guys, this was their first ever BlizzCon, and they told me at the end of the trip, I said, so, what's the verdict? We coming back? And Joe didn't even wait. Joe just said, 100%, I'll be here next year. Nathan absolutely had a great time, living the married life, so he's like, you know what, we're going to figure that out. But Nathan said, if I can swing it, I'll be back next year. On the far left, you see me in my Slytherin tie. Went to Universal Studios that day, went to Harry Potter World and all that stuff. Over my left shoulder there is Jeff with a big old grin on his face. In front there we have Zuanich. If you guys have watched our stream, you'll know Zuanich is one of my co-hosts, holding Jason, the purple teal llama, and her Hufflepuff tie around her waist. If you guys watch the Daily Grind, which you guys should, the Daily Grind podcast, gaming and fitness podcast, Anthony, one of the main hosts, is there, standing beside Zuanich. In the middle, we have Liz, with the glasses and hat. That is Zillions' sister. Over her shoulder is Zillions, the brand manager for Lost Codex and some guy named Final Boss TV. Next to Zillions, in the blue shirt, is my friend Dan, Canadian Dan. This was his 5th BlizzCon. And then in front, with the pose, is Electric Boogaloo from the Discord. Boo was there. Oh god. Boo just cracks me up. So this was us at BlizzCon. And sorry, Universal. Go to the next photo here. So here's Zuanich, myself, and Boo, and there's Joe in the background. Okay, here we go. Here's another photo. We're gonna skip straight to BlizzCon here. So we all know that face in the middle. That is Taryn Gregory. Taryn Gregory is a good friend of mine. He's the lead cinematic director for the World of Warcraft team, all the in-game cinematics. And, Terror of Darkshore was, his most recent project that we all saw. And those two good-looking ladies right there. We've got, next to me, we've got Ishura, who in chat here is Ilun Driss, our resident Highborn expert. And next to her is Spalander or Rhiney, depends how you know her in the Discord or here in chat. And just as Ladis and Chandran modded and took care of the Lost Codex Discord when I was gone, Ishura and Rhiney / Spalander modded the Lost Codex IRL. They were such a huge help to me, huge assets to BlizzCon, and I was so excited that they got to experience what I love about BlizzCon. Everyone goes to BlizzCon for different reasons, to dance, to network, to party, to work, to binge drink and eat. I did a lot of binge eating. But my thing is running around. This was day one. This was the first day of BlizzCon, and running around the convention is fun, but running around the parties at night, this is what makes it. So this was my squad at BlizzCon this year. And there's Taryn with a shocked face. New emote. All right. This was the second night. No, actually, the last photo was also the second night. This was right outside the Marriott. We were talking to Taryn. You can see Taryn off to the far right, over on the far right there. And it was actually the meet and greet for Taliesin and Evitil. And Taliesin was standing next to me for about 15 minutes before I realized he was there. Then the sprinklers went off, soaked half of us, and then I realized, oh, that's Taliesin. And for those of you who might remember, I recently did a little cameo in a Taliesin and Evitil video as Trollbane, and so Taliesin saw me, gave me a big hug, introduced me to his Patreon meet and greet that was right there, and then I had my group there. We have on the far left, we've got with his epic power stance, Mike from the Daily Grind. You might recognize Mike as Mikhail the Dwarf from our Discord. We've got Ishura, Spalander. We've got Light as my co-pilot stand behind Spalander, and Keldrin to the far right. I had my Lost Codex crew. Taliesin had his Patreon crew. And it was so awesome just to talk with them. We got to shoot the shit about future projects. Taliesin really wants to be involved in a Lost Codex video in the future. Unfortunately, Evitel wasn't there. I think jet lag was kicking his ass. And it was awesome. And the funny thing is, we didn't even see Taliesin because he was surrounded by his crew. So we're all just standing around talking to Taryn. Sprinklers go off, and I hear a familiar yell. And I'm just like, I know that voice, and it was Taliesin. So that was super fun. This is outside Cheesecake Factory. There's a couple of photos leading up to this, but basically, we took a group photo. Jeff's on the far left. Mike is staring at someone in the upper left. We've got Liz and Zillions with her eye patch on the right. But as the photos were taken, Taryn was getting closer and closer and closer, and I didn't realize until after. And so this was one of my favorite photos from BlizzCon. Just a random group photo. Okay, this is one of my favorite photos. This is the Lost Codex meet and greet. This is one of my favorite. Like, there's a million of these photos taken, but this one stands out to me the most because everyone's laughing. So we're gonna go from left to right. We've got Resto Raven on the far left here. I have the non-grimace one, Ishura. Don't worry. I had to choose this one though for a reason. We've got Resto Raven on the far left here. Next to her is Tiny Valkyrie. Next to her is Shoe Boots in the red there. We've got Spalander laughing at something. Knowing the grin on my face, I said something. Argent down in front. Jeff is giving, I think, Issei a look. We've got Jeff in the purple. We've got grimacing Ishura with Electric Boogaloo strangling her. And then there's Issei with the pink hair with a shit-eating grin on her face. I'm pretty sure she's the one. She probably has said something about gnomes, which is why Jeff looks so offended. We've got Jared standing next to Issei. The dude in the back there, he's actually brand new to the Discord. Pulling up his name here. He's not in the Discord, or he wasn't in the Discord at the time. That's Dabba Durba. He's a friend of Jared and Shoe Boots. From the Merely a Setback podcast. He just joined in and just got along great with everyone. We've got Snake Eyes and Handclaw there on the end. And it was so... We had a good meet and greet. This is on the 3rd/4th floor of the Hilton, because floors are weird. And we're sitting around in a lounge, and we all just got to shoot the shit and talk. It took us about 30-40 minutes to get through introductions, because everyone kept derailing and talking, and it was just so fun to be there, to have this meet and greet there. And Handclaw and Issei brought their portfolio, so we all got to appreciate and drool over their awesome artwork. And then at the very end of the meet and greet, at this point, this is day 2, Taryn kept me out on the first night till 6 a.m. And I was up and on the floor by 10. So I was dying. I had no energy, and I needed to sleep. I bought the journal. Did I bring the journal into the photo? Oh, she did. Sage, look right there in the front. Sage, you can see the journal in Ashura's hand. In Grimace's hand, you can see. But I'm dying of sleep here, or lack of sleep rather. And we're all sitting around, and I went and got Tara and Gregory to crash the meet and greet. And I made a joke saying, you know that time at the end of the podcast where I just talk incessantly for 40 minutes in the post show? There was a post show at the meet and greet, but Taryn was the director behind that. So that was really fun. Do I have the follow-up photo? Okay, here's a better photo. This is a different photo where Ishura is not grimacing. Jeff still looks annoyed. Spalander is still laughing at what she was in the previous photo. Boo was looking like a shit disturber. Jared is laughing. Everyone's having a good time except Jeff. Jeff is just annoyed as hell at Issei. But no more Ishura grimace there. Anyway, one of my favorite moments of BlizzCon. This was super fun to meet everyone. And definitely the meet and greet's going to be bigger, better. Maybe we'll go to a restaurant next year and not sit up in a random lounge for a very short amount of time. We'll have a proper meet and greet. Here is Spalander and I. And do I have the follow-up photo? No. Damn it. The follow-up photo was, or the previous photo was actually New Eleanor from the Discord. Totally just... There it is. Photobombing the image. And so then I said, well, can you at least pose and we'll get like a nice photo? So this is Spalander on the left and New Eleanor, Emily on the right. This was at the Calm Before the Storm meet and greet. We've got Jared, Shoe Boots behind, and one of the newest members of our Discord community, we've got Amond. This was really fun. They actually saw me in a huge crowd, and I heard someone yell Jesse, and I spun around, and there, I didn't know Amond at the time, but I did know Shoe Boots and Jared, so we got a photo. They actually have a podcast called Merely a Setback. They're great guys. They were both there. Sharku unfortunately was not there, but maybe next year. Here's if you guys watch the Realm podcast, it's a podcast on podcasts. Ro, right there in the middle, Ro actually is awesome. He gets to interview, brand new podcasts and really dive into the details of new and upcoming podcasts. And Ro actually interviewed me last year, which was really cool. I happened to be talking to Jesse outside the media room, and he came up saying, "Can I get a photo with both Jessies?" We have an old photo of Jesse Cox and I from years ago. Let's see if I can find it really quickly. It's gonna take too long, but Jesse and I have gotten a couple BlizzCon photos, and Jesse and I have actually worked together before. My very first project, Boom Diata, WoW, was a project that Jesse got in on, and then all of the machinimas that Jeff and I produced for BlizzCon, or not for BlizzCon, involved Jesse, and so he was really excited to see us. A little bit of a reunion there, and then Ro was like, "Oh my god, I need a photo." And I'm kind of sad I didn't get a photo with just Ro, because I talked to him a couple nights before at the meet and greet, but he's a busy man. I didn't get to see him again. This is at the Wowhead party. We've got Electric Boogaloo on the far left, Anthony from the Daily Grind podcast, myself, Mark Turpin, or Terps from the Yogscast, and there's Taryn Screaming in the bottom right. I got to see Terps at TwitchCon the week before, and he actually saw me in a crowd. Terps is actually a huge fan of the Lost Codex, which is really weird to say, because it's Terps, it's Mark Turpin. Everyone knows who Terps is. So he jumped out at me at TwitchCon. I got to reintroduce him to Jeff, and he actually got to meet Zillions. Then I was walking through the crowd with Boo and Anthony there, and there was Terps and Taryn talking to one another. Terps sees me, jumps out at me, asks Taryn, he goes, "Do you know who this guy is? Do you know who the Lost Codex is?" Taryn totally plays dumb, like, "No, I've never heard of them. Who are they?" And I wish I had it right now, but I don't. But if you guys watched the podcast last night of David Grant Podcast, you'll know one of the favorite stories, and I'll post this in the Discord once I can, but my friend Mike, let's go back a few photos here. Mike here, bottom left, red shirt, power stance. Mike comes barreling through the crowd, and Terps looks at him and says, "You look like a strong lad." And Mike says, I am. I am a strong boy. And I said, "Mike can deadlift 550 pounds. And Terps looks at him and says, "Can you deadlift me?" And I have it on video. Terps drops to the ground, planks instantly onto his face. And it's a minute-long video. The first 45 seconds is Mike trying to get a grip on a full-grown man. And Taryn just watching in absolute disbelief. And then at the very end, Anthony's yelling at Terps, "Arms in your side, arms in your side." Terps turns around, and Mike grabs him and deadlifts Mark Turpin of the Yogscast off the ground on the floor of the Wowhead party at BlizzCon. If you needed a reason to go to BlizzCon for really weird, awesome stories, this is probably one of the best ones, in that I don't think anyone has earned the achievement of deadlifting Mark Turpin from the Yogscast off the ground. Taryn turned to Mike and said, "I'm pretty sure you're the only person who's ever done that with this particular person." So that's it. That was Anthony, right? Look at how Boo's shit-eating face over there. Holy moly, Boo. I just realized Boo's in every photo. Here is Ishura and Zuanich and myself at Medieval Times. You can't see my crown because my crown's sitting on the back of my head, but Steve, if you guys know Steve works at Medieval Times and got us 17 tickets to Medieval Times. 17 tickets. And we were in the Red Knight section, and of course, our Knight won. So that was awesome. This is a picture of our merch booth. Do I have the follow-up? No, I don't. I will in a second. This is a picture of our merch booth at the Blizznerds party, and again, special thanks to Ishura and Spalander and Zillian's sister Liz for running our merch booth. I was basically party hopping. I'm trying to upload a photo here, a group photo of it as well. I was party hopping from between Calm Before the Storm, Wowhead Party, Blizznerds, tried to get to the Blizzard mixer. It was a busy night, and so these girls ran our store amazingly. Let me pull up a photo here, a group photo that we took. So there's our merch booth, big huge banner, artwork by Issei Silva. And I got another photo here, a selfie, a little bit better quality, with a perfect expression from Jeff. And so these were our merch ladies. They ran our store. We had pins, we had shirts, we had everything, and it was awesome. Group photo there. And so here you can see our shirt designs. Again, shirt design by Issei Silva. The shirt design on the far right, that's the front of the shirt, and then on the back you either have the choice of the Kultiris logo or the Zandalar logo. Above the Kultiris logo, you can see some really nicely textured stickers. Like, these were matte level stickers or matte level stickers that Zillions actually ordered as a surprise for us. That was really cool. We had some business cards there. We have some pins. You guys have seen the pins. We have some necklaces. Zillions got pop sockets for us, which was dope. And it was awesome. It was just awesome. Here is a picture of the party room. And here's Jeff eating a stroopwafel. No word of a lie. Diva Marie and Taryn Gregory. For those of you who don't know, Diva Marie is the voice of Mira, the Volpera in Vol'dun, as well as Addy Fizzlebog, several Hearthstone cards, and then we all know Taryn as Taryn. This is literally just our party room, and Taryn was mid-story. I think there's an open bag of Canadian chocolates next to Diva. And I said, Diva, do you want some chocolates? And she goes, you know the way to my heart. To which then Taryn pouted. And then we gave Taryn some chocolate and he was happy. There was pop sockets. There wasn't very many pop sockets, Phil. It was a very small collection, but it's something that we're looking into for mass production. Here is the Decoded bed selfie. We have Shannon on the far left, me, Jeff struggling to hold the camera, and there's Zillions just off site there. This was a Decoded selfie that I just thought was a really goofy photo. So anyone who's part of the Blizzards group or has watched Decoded, you know who Shannon is. There's Shannon. I think we have another picture of her coming up. There's me, Jeff, and Zillions with a not amused expression on her face in the media room, wearing our Lost Codex shirts on day one. Here are the boys at Disney. We've got Jeff, Nathan, myself, Mike, Anthony, and Joe there. This is us in front of Disneyland. This was fun. Bed lore. I'd have to check here. Yes, I do. I got that photo right here, Spalander. I think. Do I? Question mark? Question mark. I don't have it. Rip. Rip and pepperonis. I should be able to locate it, actually. We're almost there. Spalander sent me a million photos, as requested, over Discord. I just have to back up and find them. Oh, I haven't shown that photo yet either. There it is. There it is. There's Resto Raven, Ashura, Spalander, and me on Twitter. Actually, that was right before we met Christy Golden. Christy Golden photo coming soon. With Ashura and her damn flag. Holy crap, her damn flag. And Spalander called this every streamer's dream. And this is right before we met Christy Golden. I think that photo's coming up soon. Nope, but here is Zuanich, myself, Boo, who's staring directly at me, and Issei in the Hearthstone Tavern on day 2. And Boo just looks like, is just so funny and amazing in every photo. But I thought this was one of the better pictures. Here's me and my squad again. And this is day 1, me and my squad, right outside the... Actually, this was moments before we met Keldrin. Keldrin came running up to us. I don't know how he saw us. I guess he saw me, or he must have... He probably recognized Ashura or Spalander, but he came running up to us. And that was really cool. That was before the meet and greet. Here's our meet and greet. Come Before the Storm, Thursday night. And there's a lot of people in this photo. So let's start on the far left. For those of you who looked at the cosplays going on at BlizzCon, that's Kaz on the far left. She is the one who did the Hogger costume last year. And so I tasked Spalander and Ashura with candid photos of the meet and greet that they took. So there's a lot of random funny photos going on here. So we got Kaz, the Hogger cosplayer, or the Goatman cosplayer, on the left here. You've got me mid-thought flexing there. You've got Jeff with the most concentrated expression possible. For those of you who've been in the Discord for a long time and you remember the name The Hammer in our Discord, one of our mods, Anthony is up there with his giant inflatable Reinhardt hammer. Zuanich is next to him. Issei is there. Let me see if I can just blow this up in any way possible. Can I? Oh, I can. Perfect. Let's just blow it up. Just to get a look of our expressions. Perfect! Anyway, this was... Oh, there's my face. At our meet and greet. We have a lot of Issei artwork there in prints in front of us. And the big banner, of course, artwork by her. We were talking to one of the people who came up to ask about the art in the Lost Codex there in front. And then behind her you can see Zillions. The dude in the purple shirt next to Zillions on the far right, that's Anish. He works at Twitch. He's the Twitch manager for Final Boss. And then there's Final Boss next to him getting into his chair. There's a lot of candid photos we've got here. Here's another picture of the meet and greet from behind the table now. And there's once again Anthony looming. Some people talking to us about the art. You can see the giant goat head next to me over there. Issei's wonderful, beautiful pink hair. You've got me, also confused. Anthony probably staring at someone down to hit them with the hammer. Jeff looking super intense. There's me arguing with someone about something, no doubt. Talking about Warglaves and why they shouldn't be Demon Hunters only. Anyone who watches Convert to Raid, that's Pat Crane in the background, just by sheer chance. And there's Jeff signing some stuff. There's me catching Spalander flat on, taking a picture of me, staring her down, right directly into the lens. And there's Jeff signing something, and Issei finding more artwork, and Electric Boogaloo in the background, now that I look. Hey, that girl with the pink hair wasn't... Yeah, she was, Garrick. Garrick, how's it going? Yes, that's Issei. She's actually the artist for the artwork you see on the table there and the banner. And Zillions is the little... that's Zuanich. Yeah, that's another Z. There's two Zs. There's Zillions and Zuanich. There's Zillions on the far right. We've got Issei there. I'm pretty sure that's Argent in front. For those in the Discord, that's Argent with his backpack there. I think. There's Seraphita. She's one of the GMs for Method. They're talking to me. There's me looking really intense. Issei looking really entertained. And Jeff, just zero expression on his face. Perfect. Here's a fun photo. Shortly after this photo, Retro Raven went to go check into her hotel. 20 minutes later, I said to Ishura and Spalander, I'm like, you guys want to meet Christy Golden? Because Christy Golden messaged me, sent me a text and said, hey, where are you? So brought the girls down, and I thought it was going to be a very quick meet and greet with Christy Golden, just like a talk, hey, how's it going? Here's some friends of mine, and off she went. We stood around for 45 minutes just absolutely talking about everything from Before the Storm to Christy Golden's involvement in the cinematics. I am too, Retro. It wasn't a planned meeting. It was just, hey, where are you? And then I just looked up. I said, you guys can stay here, but I'm going to go meet Christy Golden. And this is us outside the Hilton because of how loud it was with the Hilton DJ. And Christy's actually a big fan of the Lost Codex. She's a big fan of the podcast and stuff like that. So I'd love to have her on Decoded once and just pick her brain and talk to her, on an official forum here. So, we're definitely big fans of Christy here. No bad talking Christy at all. So this was super fun. Okay, this is a two-parter photo. So this is actually night one. This is the first night that I met Ashura. This was the Wednesday night. As you can tell, the Hilton lobby's already bumping. There's Joe, Ashura, Zuanich in the corner. And it's actually a two-parter photo because Boo is just off screen and she comes flying in. Missed out on the photo. I don't know if she'd be happy that I'm posting this picture, but you know what? She had to crash the photo. Poor Joe got thrown out. Zuanich was startled up behind me, so... What else we got here? We've got... this is for those who recognize Shannon earlier. She's one of the my co-hosts for Decoded. She's one of the top mods in the Blizznerds Facebook group. And there's Ishura next to me, and then behind there is Simon Pegg. Sorry, no, her Shannon's husband, Niall. Kilted Not Tilted here in Twitch. I don't think it's here right now, but yeah. And you guys saw that photo, and you guys saw that photo. I'm just seeing if there's anything else that I missed. There was a lot of good photos. I didn't show all of them, but there's a lot. I think that's it. I think that's... Just looking at my phone quickly, see if there's any that I want to throw up there. I think we got all of them. Should I post that one? Why not? This is at 2 in the morning at... Oh, fuck, where'd it go? At IHOP. And this is my friend Stefan and Celestalon from the Hearthstone team. Just sitting in the IHOP booth. Where is it? There it is. And you know what? It's moments like these, and it's moments like these that really make BlizzCon. Getting to just hang out with people that you wouldn't expect to hang out with. Just, you know, hey, let's go talk to Christy Golden for an hour. Let's go hang out with Taryn Gregory. Let's go to IHOP with Celestalon. Like, these are the moments that I look so forward to for BlizzCon. Because I don't know, that's the fun of it. That's just one of the best things about BlizzCon is getting to meet so many awesome new people, whether they're, patrons of mine or it's, people from, like Yogscast, the Discord here. This was such a cool moment to have. And to me, that's what BlizzCon's about, is if you go to BlizzCon, make sure you have a nap during the day, because the party's at night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and especially... Set you one more in Discord. Uh-oh, we got one more. Oh, yes, this one. This is we call this the end night. This was on... Oh, no. This is at IHOP. There was a lot of 2 a.m. IHOP runs. Here's Light as my co-pilot, Handclaw. There's Mike downing some sort of drink at the very end. And myself, and you could see Ashura's elbow just off screen there. And Handclaw's got his full portfolio out, and he's showing us his sketches. He's got this really cool idea for a dungeon called the Uber Zeppelin. And you guys may have seen his work on Twitter. And he's going through all the bosses and what he would do for this mega dungeon that's flying in the sky. And this is at like 2:00 in the morning. We're just talking dungeons at IHOP with people from our Discord. This is shortly after the meet and greet with Taliesin. And it was really dope. It's moments like this that just, ew, IHOP syrup Mia? No thank you. That is an abomination. So I was talking about naps a couple moments ago. Naps at BlizzCon are crucial. You don't want to go to bed early at BlizzCon. You don't want to, okay, it's 9 o'clock, I'm going to go to bed. No, because all the fun happens at night. Doing your 2 a.m. runs to IHOP, hanging in the bar at 1 o'clock in the morning, staying out till 6 in the morning. 2 mornings in a row, Terran, just talking and geeking about everything. That's what makes BlizzCon. And so I always tell people, make sure you get your sleep. My friend Devin was one of the smartest people. He got there Wednesday and he took a long nap and he was good. He caught up on his sleep. He didn't continue partying when he got to California. He took a big nap. And that's the biggest thing I can recommend. Go to BlizzCon during the day, take a nap in your hotel room, and then come back out to party, because you miss out on so much things. And I'll even say, Spalander and Ashura, they don't stay up late. And I made them stay out. And I am willing to bet a lot of money that there is zero regrets in staying out and being part of the Codex squad, being my IRL mods. Because they got to meet, they just followed me around. And I talked to everyone, like, here's introducing, after Christy Golden, I turned to them like, you guys want to meet Diva Marie? And they're like, are you kidding? And bam, Diva, like Beetlejuice, poof, appears out of this nowhere. We go back to the hotel room, we're hanging out, knock at the door, there's Taryn Gregory, kicks the door open. Like, it's just moments like that really, really stand out. It's 2 a.m. and I don't need to be this hyped, right? Like I am. If you're not hyped for BlizzCon 2019, this is not the YouTube channel or Twitch channel for you. I was on the Daily Grind podcast last night as a guest host with Mike, Anthony, Stefan, and Zuanich, and we went to Denny's after. And I looked at the boys. I said, "Are you guys as hyped for BlizzCon 2019 as I am?" And like their hearts were going, my heart was going. It was amazing. And honestly, if you need a reason to go to BlizzCon, hell, if you don't even care about the panels, don't buy a BlizzCon ticket. Just stay in the area, go to Disney during the day, and then come back and party at night. That is where it all happens. I'll be doing a full repeat of all of this once the BlizzCon hype season. This is the downtime. And there's something I should say. Something that most people aren't prepared for. Adjusting my seat here. I still have 2 pieces of sushi that I haven't eaten, so pardon me. I needed to hype up this next moment, because this is actually the killer part about BlizzCon. And I say killer in not a good way. BlizzCon is such a hype buildup. You know, you start partying Wednesday. Get there Wednesday. Get there Tuesday before BlizzCon. Because that's when the parties really happen. Then you get to experience more socializing. But when Saturday night comes along, and you come to the realization that this is it. This is the last night of BlizzCon. It's heart-wrenching. And to me, BlizzCon has always been super sad on the last day. It's always like, I have this tradition, whether I'm alone or with someone, we'll walk to the convention center and I'll have one last look. I actually have that saved. One last look at the Anaheim Convention Center before... Actually, you know what? I'll post this one too. This was my last selfie of BlizzCon. And this was my... There it is. Discord. So there's Taryn and I. And then we've got this last picture. This terrible, haunting photo of the last night of BlizzCon. It's literally... It's a sad moment. Because you've built up to this moment. It's in the midst of so much chaos, so much socializing, so much fun, that you then come to the realization of it all ends right now. It all ends tomorrow. And it's really sad. And I don't think people realize how sad it is until you're in that final moment. Until you turn to your brand new best friends and hug them and you're like, this is it. This is goodbye. Until next year, right? And I've had to do that for every single BlizzCon, and it's this heart-wrenching feeling of I don't like it. I don't like it. I made Ashura and Spalander stay out as long as they could. They were dying from exhaustion. You know, Spalander was like, I have to fly home in a couple hours, and I was like, all right, you can go. But it's a sad moment. And Snake Eyes is right. It's a sad moment for a moment, and then you realize this is the build-up to next year. But I was talking to Taryn about it, and I realized this man meets a lot of people. You know, I have problems saying goodbye to 12 people. This man meets hundreds of people. It was almost 4 a.m. And it's this final, like, you've especially if you watch Decoded or Lost Codex, I don't shut up about BlizzCon. BlizzCon is actually the one thing I look forward to in the year. Christmas, don't even care. Birthday, don't even care. Holiday, summer vacation, don't even care. BlizzCon, literally, I'm not going to talk, like, when they announce BlizzCon in 3 months or 4 months from now, oh man, the hype's going to build up all over. And it ends like that. And it's like, oh, my heart. It's sad. So just so you know, especially if you get to meet up with these online friends and you hang out with them the whole weekend and then you say goodbye, that's one of the hardest parts about BlizzCon. Is BlizzCon coming to an end. So what I will say on that note is if you go to BlizzCon, don't leave on the Sunday. Spalander. Leave Sunday night maybe, Monday morning. But saying goodbye on the eve of BlizzCon ending, that's awful. Looking up at the BlizzCon signs for the last time and going, well, we'll see you next year. Don't do that. Because the next day you can do something. We went to Disney the next day. Disney with a whole bunch of Blizzard nerds at Disneyland. We were walking around and we saw Horde Alliance, StarCraft, Overwatch shirts everywhere. Mike Morheim was walking around. So, if you go to BlizzCon next year, stay for the Sunday. The Sunday is almost like the unofficial Sunday of BlizzCon because you get to go to Disney with a bunch of other Blizzard people. And that's super fun. So you have like one last day of not BlizzCon related fun but you're still just socializing with these awesome friends that you made. So, and I always stay till Tuesday or Wednesday. Not everyone can do that, right? But I always recommend never leave super early the day after, because if you really want to party hard, it's gonna. I felt bad for Splendor because I made her stay out late. I made them stay out really late. And on Sunday, I don't forget you have a family. Just bring your family. Lost Codex Daycare. We'll take care of the little one. Taryn will be a babysitter, and Christy Golden, and Darren DePaul. We will. It's a. I get it. You know, staying an extra day, that's hotel funds. Going to Disneyland, that's more funds right there. It's expensive to stay out no holiday, but I always recommend at least one day after BlizzCon, to stay and to hang out with people. Because that way, BlizzCon Saturday night's already sad enough without adding goodbyes on top of it. So save those sad goodbyes for the Sunday. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. And I could go for another 4 more hours if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. BlizzCon 2019. The hype is there. The hype is... I have one more thing in my notes. One more thing in my notes here. What do I have in my notes? What does he have in his notes? My year-long predictions. So if you've watched me for the last hour and 40-something minutes, and you're like, I don't care about BlizzCon. Well, here's where things are gonna get tricky. In that I'm going to convince you. BlizzCon 2019 is going to be a huge year. I say that every year, for the record. BlizzCon 2018, huge year. BlizzCon 2017, huge year. 16, amazing big year. But actually, next year is going to be a big year. Why? We have a WoW expansion coming next year, which will perfect time for release for summer of 2020, somewhere around there. It fits the schedule. BlizzCon 2017 was an expansion announcement. BlizzCon 2015, Gamescom 2015, they announced Legion. And then BlizzCon 2015, they talked about Legion. Then it came out the following summer, 2016, in August. 2017, Battle for Azeroth, which means 2019 is going to be the year of the Warcraft expansion. If they don't announce it at Gamescom, probably not. If you're going to Gamescom 2019, I'll be there. But, huge expansion announcement. We also have 2 massive milestones for anniversaries. We have the 25-year Warcraft milestone. 25 years. 1994 is when Warcraft 1 came out. That is older than some people here in the chat. That is a huge milestone. Now, if you didn't play Warcraft 1, that's fine, because it's a 15-year anniversary for World of Warcraft. This game has been around for 15 years. Good Lord. That is a lot of years. This year was the 20th anniversary for StarCraft. What they've done in the past, especially for the big anniversary they had one for BlizzCon anniversary, the 10-year anniversary. Diablo. The Diablo one I remember the most because I think it was some big anniversary for Diablo. They had a huge festive celebration outside the con. They didn't really do it this year for StarCraft because of all the security. Hopefully they figure that out next year. But what they did for Diablo was they had a full celebration outside the convention center between the Marriott and the Hilton. If I'm the convention center right here, you've got the Hilton over here, the Marriott right here, and then this pathway between 1 million food trucks, beer tents. Christian Nairn, Hodor from Game of Thrones, was there as well, who's also closing act this year. Huge celebration outside for people who want to go to this anniversary celebration without paying for BlizzCon. This was a separate event outside. 25 years, 15 years, WoW expansion. If you are a WoW, Warcraft, anything like that fan, next year is your year. You know, this year they had a lot of cool shit in the opening ceremony with the Starfang cinematic and Warcraft 3 Reforged. what's next panel. We got a lot of good juicy information like we did at BlizzCon 2016. It was the filler year where we just learned about the patch content. But next year will be the 2-year anniversary of my interview with Alex and Shaney about Battle for Azeroth. So next year's interview is going to be huge with Alex. I hope. Fingers crossed. So, if you need a reason to go to BlizzCon, there's your reason. Overwatch, they're definitely going to have some stuff to announce. Heroes of the Storm, always. Hearthstone expansion, those 3 are guaranteed. New hero, new Overwatch champion, and Hearthstone expansion. I want to say something's coming for Diablo, but I'm not going to. Let's lower our expectations to nothing so we can be very surprised if and when it's Diablo 4. We're not going to bring that up again. StarCraft, it's the end of an era. Curious what they'll do. We'll see. Whatever. Warcraft 3, at that point, Warcraft 3 would have already been out for a little while, so maybe they'll have an expansion announcement or a DLC announcement, something. Next year, a brand new IP, that would be mind-blowing. One of my most memorable moments from BlizzCon is BlizzCon 2014, when Chris Metzen said, guys, it's been 20 years since Blizzard has announced a new IP. Until now. And we're sitting there going, wait, you're announcing something new? And then Overwatch came up. And it was like, what the hell is this? Is this Pixar? This is amazing. And then we all know where Overwatch went from there. So, you need a reason to go to BlizzCon. And I didn't give you a reason with all this hype of people and people and more people and parties and more people. Well, there's your reason right there. You like esports? I'm not a big esports. I love esports, but I don't watch a lot of it. But when I walk by those esports arenas or esports stage, holy crap, the hype in the room. The electricity in the air is just amazing. So, I'll say it now, and I'll say it 10 times over. If you're thinking about BlizzCon next year, start planning now. You might say, well, Jesse, I have to start planning after I get tickets. You'll get tickets. Don't worry. I had a ticket on the... I was still selling one of my tickets after the opening ceremony on the last day. Shout out to that girl who bought that ticket. Thank you. You got me my money back. Hello, Stannis. Stannis is going to BlizzCon next year. So if we need a reason to go, Stannis is going all the way from Australia to go to BlizzCon. So there's your reason. Guys, if you have any questions about BlizzCon, feel free to message me, Twitter DM, shoot me an email, or message me on Discord. I'm always happy. I was able to convince and help. I think the number's up to 11. 11 people from my community go to BlizzCon. Either I convinced them, got them their ticket, or helped organize, and Blizzard just imagine if Blizzard paid me to get people to go. I've convinced a dozen people to go to BlizzCon without being paid. Imagine if I was getting paid. Holy moly. My new life. This is something that I should get paid to do. This is the end of a ramble podcast about BlizzCon. We are episode 29 of Decoded. There won't be a BlizzCon podcast for at least a dozen episodes, I want to say. At least 12 episodes from now, we'll have 12 BlizzCon, maybe, let's say 10, just keep it, we'll lowball it. 10 episodes without a BlizzCon focus. But when March or April of 2019 comes along, and that Blizzard Entertainment Twitter account posts BlizzCon 2019, pump your brakes. It is... I can't even talk about it because I'm going to get too excited. And for those of you who are like, oh, I'm not going to go to BlizzCon, Spelender here in chat was a hard no the whole year. And she was one of my IRL mods. I got a million photos to prove it. So we've got a little bit of time before our next BlizzCon podcast. All right. This is the end of Decoded, episode 29. To all of those of you listening on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, I apologize for the lack of images that you can't see. I know it's not ideal, but I had to break my rule here. You can see the visuals, the images, on the actual Twitch VOD or the uploaded YouTube version. And to all those in stream chat, thank you for chatting with me. Stick around for the post-show. And it was fun. It was super fun, guys. We'll see you next week for episode 30. Maybe we'll talk about Jaina. Maybe we'll talk about Thros. Maybe we'll talk about... There's a lot to talk about Thros with Alex Frasiabi and his interview. Holy shit. The Alliance storyline, Ajara, roleplay, cooking, podcast, maybe. I don't know. It's going to happen. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 29 of Decoded. I'm your host, Jesse. We'll be back next week for episode 30. Topic to be determined. Okay, goodbye. Wavy hands, spirit fingers.